And we are live. We'll be interviewing top contender Ryan Cowboy Karl here. And yeah, man, just gonna ask him some questions, see how he answers, and it's gonna be about 10-15 minutes, the main part of the interview, which will start at 5 o'clock Eastern, 15 minutes from now. And yeah, man, been working on these interviews, and it's great to do them. This is my 14th interview, and it's great to catch up with these fighters. Great to talk with them. Salute to Iceman. Thanks for stopping by, bro. Hope all is well. It's great to talk with these fighters, man. Great to learn more about them. And, what I love about doing these is in a few years from now, they'll be really interesting to look back at. Uh, and yeah, man, his last fight against Mario Barrios was on the co-main event to Gervonta Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz pay-per-view. That was a great fight, man. He really gave it his all, and I think he definitely deserves more respect than he gets. Ryan Karl always brings it, always gives us good fights, and I'm excited to see him return to the ring. Hopefully soon, man. Hopefully soon. And if anyone has any questions for him in the chat when he does join up for the interview, please comment them down below. Uh, I'll definitely, if they're reasonable, logical questions and not some trolling, I'll definitely ask them. And yeah, man, just stalling it out for now. Uh, the interview will start in about 14-15 minutes when he hops on. And yeah, man, we'll just catch up. And I will turn my cam on when the interview starts. Until then, I'm gonna have it off. But when the interview starts, I will turn my cam on. But yeah, man, it's gonna be. I expect it to be a good interview. From what I've seen, Ryan Karl seems like a very nice guy, so I'm excited to do it, man. I'm excited to do it. Very fun fighter. I mean, the amount of Ryan Karl fights that have been entertaining. I mean, you'll lose count of it. And I'm interested to see what he says. As I said before, if you guys have any questions for him in the chat, please comment down below. Don't troll. If you do, I'm just not gonna ask them to. I'm not gonna ask him. And yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's gonna be good to catch up. It's gonna be a good opportunity. This I've gotten about how many interviews have I gotten in 2021? I've gotten about 5, maybe 6 interviews this year, man. So we're working, we're grinding, and if you guys know any fighter personally that you're friends with, that would be willing to get interviewed, please let me know. Because that would be great, man. It'd be great. But yeah, salute to Dirt Unboxing. He's also in the chat. Salute to Iceman. And yeah, man. Salute to Jimmy D. Giles, man. We shall see, man. We shall see. I'm not sure if Cowboy's gonna still campaign at 140. I'm not sure if he's gonna be at 140 or 147. Ninth round. Oh, that was a slip, Iceman. That was a slip. Navarrete definitely slipped. He threw a punch, lost balance, and fell. That was definitely a slip. That was a great fight too, man. Fight of the year candidate / contender. Uh, that was a very good fight for sure. But yeah, man. In the fight against Mario Barrios, he gave it a great go. He hit Barrios with lots and lots of shots, and if it wasn't for that headbutt, it could have been a very different fight, to be honest. Because that headbutt was definitely affecting him as well. Oh, I appreciate that, Jimmy. If you're willing to do that, I definitely would appreciate that, bro. I'd appreciate it. You could message me through private messages and Minimax Boxing through Twitter for more details on that. But I definitely appreciate that, Jimmy. Yeah, that'd be a great opportunity for sure, especially if him fighting Canelo. I mean, that'd be big for me. But anyways, I've interviewed some good fighters, man, and it's great to do these. And I feel like I wish more content creators interviewed more, man, because I think it would help the channels out a lot. It's great to get in contact with boxers. It's great to talk with them. And all these fighters, man, they have some real interesting stories, some real interesting lives, and that's the whole point of this, man, to get to know them more. And that's the reason that people watch these interviews, because they're interested in the fighters as a person and what they are into as people. But yeah, if you guys have any questions for Ryan when he hops on, please comment them as well. And yeah, man, that's all I really have to say right now. If anyone wants to comment anything, there's a question before we begin, let me know. Yeah, we got a great night of fights last night. And the next week should be a good week as well, man. And I wish I was at that event. I wish I was at the Navarrete fight. That was a great fight, great card. But yeah, man, great sport we got in boxing. Let's just hope these guys fight each other. Yeah, but Ryan, he does have a very fun, entertaining style. I'll definitely bring that up as well. We've gotten many great fights of him, many wars, and hopefully, he gets to be back in the ring real soon because, he's a fighter that every time he steps in, he gives it his all, he brings it, and a fight I think would be good for him with someone like Juan Heraldez because he just fought Prograis. It'd be a good contender fight. Winner gets another big fight. I think that would be a good name for him. But we shall see, man. We shall see. Yeah, Iceman, I saw that. That was great, man. It was great to see a crowd, and that event was a good event, man. Very weird event, the way everything turned out, but some damn good fights. And yeah, I hope that they have a fight in the Miami area next, because I'd like to attend it. I'm not sure what fight would take place over here, but something, man, something. That was a good card. I didn't expect those outcomes to happen. I did not think Masvidal get KO'd. I did not think Rose would win, let alone knockout Zhang in one round. But anyways, back to the interview. It's going to be a great opportunity to catch up. This is actually the first time I've done it through YouTube Live. The reason I've switched from Zoom to YouTube Live is when I went Zoom with Ronnie Rios last time, for some reason the footage was not recorded. The only part that was recorded was the audio. Thank goodness the audio was recorded, but the footage was not. So I don't want to risk any other glitches happening of Zoom. And it's going to be a lot more efficient to just get it done here. It is live, so there's a bit more pressure. There's a bit more, you have to be a bit more sharp and on the point, on the money because you are live. But I do think it is a lot better like this. It also is more authentic too. And the chat can get along with it. They could ask him questions as well in their own right. So yeah, I think doing it live may be the way to go. We'll see how I do this time, though. We'll see how I do this time. I really do hope I enjoy it, though. Yeah, man. As I said before, if you guys have any questions in the chat for me to answer before the interview starts, which will start at 8 minutes from now, comment it down below. Yeah, man. Co-main to a pay-per-view. I also have to ask him about that, man. Being a co-main event to a pay-per-view, what an experience that was. Being one of the fortunate fighters to fight with fans in our current climate. There's definitely lots of questions I got prepared. And I feel like with these interviews, man, what's very difficult about them is to try to separate each interview and make it more unique by asking, completely different questions per fighters. I mean, if you ask every fighter the same questions, like I kind of was doing early on, the interview's not going to look too great. So, got to mix it up. But yeah, man, I'm really intrigued on this. And I've been watching Ryan Karl for a bit. The first time I saw him fight was against Alfonso Oliveira in 2016. So I have been following his career for a few years now. So it's good that I get a chance to catch up with him, see what's going on, see his career paths and all that stuff, man. And it's great to do these interviews, man. I actually really enjoy these interviews, man, especially the ones where the other guy's giving real answers and they're seems like they're enjoying themselves as well. That's the best feeling when you know that you're doing a good job. But yeah, man. Great week of boxing we got. Great week of boxing we got coming up. And the sport's in good hands at the moment right now. It is in good hands. And my goal is to keep getting these interviews. I have an interview planned for next week as well. Salute to Johnny Armstrong, man. Thanks for stopping by. Hope all is well. Yes, he was good against Barrios. He really gave it a go, man. And if it wasn't for that headbutt, fight could have been a lot different. It was very entertaining. I think that fight kind of stole the show for Tank versus Leo. Yes, Tank Leo. Everyone's talking about the knockout when that event ended, but when it comes to what fight was getting the most talk, like purely off of how good the fight was, that Barrios versus Ryan Karl fight was a fight that people were like, man, did you see that fight? Because they were going back and forth, and Ryan Karl was a big underdog in that fight, but he brought it, man. He almost upset Barrios. And as I keep saying, if it wasn't for that headbutt, I could have gone a lot differently. And I'm really interested to see what Ryan Karl can do next, man. As I said, I'd love to see him fight Juan Heraldez. I think that would be a good step because you know how Juan Heraldez did fight on that same card, and I think Ryan Karl would probably beat Heraldez. But I do think Heraldez is a good fighter, even though he didn't look great against Prograis. He is a solid fighter, and it would be a good win for Karl to build his way back up. But I'm no manager. I'd like to be one, but I know that you got to do some real weird stuff to get in that position of power. So I wouldn't end up doing that. But anyways, yeah, man, that's gonna be a tough fight. For Tank, man. I keep telling people I'm picking Tank, but I think it's gonna be a decision. I don't think he's gonna knock Barrios out. If he does knock Barrios out, I'll be a little surprised. I think it's gonna go to full 12. And to be honest, I think that fight could end up being very similar to Triple G versus Daniel Jacobs, with Tank being Triple G and Barrios being Jacobs, where the smaller, stronger guy, you know, he's overpowering him, but he's having lots of issues in the process. I think it was more just the work rate. I think it was the work rate, the power, and I think the cut as well were all affecting him. Because I know Ryan Karl. I've seen his other fights. Dude won't give in easy. But Barrios, very good fighter, man. There's no shame in losing to Mario Barrios. Definitely a top 10 guy at 140, and he's gonna give Tank a good fight, man. That's actually gives me a good idea to ask. I'm gonna ask Ryan Karl his thoughts about Tank versus Barrios. I mean, he fought Barrios. He saw Tank Leo live because he was the undercard. I'm gonna ask him who he favors in that one as well. Thank you guys for unintentionally giving me the idea. Uh, I gotta ask him about that now. But yeah, man, Ryan Karl, he's fought some guys, he's fought some contenders, and he's beaten some of them as well, man. He comes forward, he throws lots of punches, he has good pressure, he's tough as nails, and he's a fan friendly fighter. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I think that's definitely how the fight is gonna play out. It may be easier for Tank than I'm saying. He may outbox him and win like a wide decision because I know Tank Davis has that boxing IQ. He just doesn't show it. But I think he's gonna try to knock him out, and he's gonna end up getting hit by a lot of big shots in the process. But yeah, man, I gotta ask him about the Barrios Tank fight as well. That's definitely a question I'm gonna ask. I have lots of questions prepared. It's 4:57, so 5 o'clock is the time. And as I said, I'm gonna turn my cam on when the interview starts. Until I'm gonna keep it off, but when it starts, I will turn my camera on. And yeah, as I said before, it's my first time doing it through a YouTube live stream, so that's fun. That's interesting, and hopefully, you know, it's a good idea. I think it will be a good idea for the future, but we'll see, man. Being live is not the easiest thing for an interview, but you know, that's how it's going to be. You think everything's going to be pre-recorded, you know? You got to get past doing it live, and I'm ready to try it. What's up to MB? Salute to MB Boxing. What's up, man? You guys haven't checked out his channel, go to MB Boxing Official's YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Makes great content, very neutral. Lots of videos, lots of predictions and reviews as well. Definitely check him out. But yeah, man, this is going to be interesting interview. No, from what I've seen, Ryan Karl looks like a very nice guy. Through the interviews I've seen from him, I was definitely rooting for him against Barrios, and he gave a great effort. Yeah, he has to take Barrios seriously. He has to take Barrios seriously. And as I said before, if you guys have any questions for Ryan in the chat while the interview begins, feel free to comment. I'll definitely ask them to him as well. And yeah, this is my 14th interview. I had 8 last year, I believe, and I started interviewing in July of last year. This is my 6th this year, and my goal, honestly, is probably to reach 20 interviews by the time the year ends. After this interview, I have one planned for next week. I'm not going to reveal who it is, but I have a fighter planned for next week, and I don't have any planned after that, but I'm definitely going to try setting some up. Salute to Saint. Thanks for stopping by, bro. Hope all is well, man. Hope all is well. Thank you, man. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So yeah, man, it is 4:59. So hopefully, you know, by 5 o'clock, the interview does begin, man. All right, man. Thanks, Iceman. Yeah, I'm definitely working hard. Not to brag. I do appreciate that. That's my goal, man. I don't care about which company I reach, but as long as I can reach somewhere. Yeah, man. But I am definitely working, man. I feel like more of these YouTubers should be doing these interviews, man. I feel like It'd be great for their channels. It'd be great for their name, and it earns respect in the community too, man. Getting interviews shows that you're actually trying to take it to the next level. Salute to that guy. Thanks for stopping by, bro. Hope all is well, man. And yeah, man, he just told me he's getting ready, so the interview should be starting in a few minutes. And yeah, man, I've said my case so far. And as I said before, I will turn my camera on when the interview does begin. And yeah, it's kind of hard to stall. I've been doing it for a few minutes now. The interview will probably be about 10, 15 minutes. Like most of them, most of my interviews are about that range. You know, when you get past 10, 15 minutes, it gets a little longer. Sometimes it's a little shorter, but I'd say 10 to 15 minutes is approximate time this interview will last. And also, guys, you can also comment some fighters you want me to pursue interviewing, some fighters you want me to try to get interviews with as well. I'd appreciate that as well. Not all of them are easy to get in touch with, but I try my best. But yeah, man. Salute to everyone in the chat. Salute to Durden, Iceman, Jimmy D. Giles, Johnny Armstrong, MB Boxing Official. Check his channel out, as I said. Saint, and that guy. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, we've recently become monetized, so I appreciate everyone who got me to that level. Took a bit, but we finally reached it. So yeah, man. Yeah, man. But as I said before, my goal is to reach 20 interviews by by the time the year ends, by 2021 ends. And I think we can do that, man. I think we can reach that goal. Because by the time this interview finishes, I'll have 14 done. And by the time next one ends, it'll be 15 done. And I started the year with only 8 total interviews. So mainly Dirt, and I mainly get it through social media most of the time, not all, but most of the time I get it through messages and social media. But there are some times where I know someone that knows someone else, and they get me in touch, or I know, like Xander Zayas, I knew him personally. That's how I got the interview. Sometimes I know them personally. Sometimes most of the time it's through social media, and through messages, and sometimes it's through someone else knows a fighter and they get me in contact. Those are the main 3 ways I've gotten interviews so far. But yeah, the main ways through social media messaging and stuff like that. Yeah, that'd be awesome, Iceman. That would be incredible. That'd be epic, man. Yeah, I could bring that up as well. I could definitely bring that up. He fights at 140. He probably has his views on that fight. Very good fight. That you can make a case that's the best fight set. You know what? It is the best fight set because AJ Fury still isn't set. All right, he is here, so give me a second, guys. Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Hope you're all well. I'm just gonna ask you some questions. I'm turning my camera on, and yeah, man, just tell me your answers, and we can begin this. So,
Yeah, sounds
if you
good.
guys are new, if you guys just stopping by, this is Ryan Cowboy Karl. Top contender. Yeah, you're campaigning at 140, right?
Yeah, I am.
All right. So we're just gonna ask him some questions. So to begin this interview, I just want to know, since your great fight in last October, do you have any plans of returning into the ring? And if you do, when is that approximate time frame?
Actually, I just got the call yesterday. Looks like I'm going to be fighting June 19th in Houston, Texas.
Oh, that's some breaking news. That's some breaking news. Great to hear. Great to hear. And how does it feel to get back in the ring so soon after such a great fight? Against Mario Barrios, you earned all the fans' respect. How does it feel to get back into the ring and be a bigger name than you were since last time?
Well, I've been eager to get back in the ring. I just couldn't wait, and it's so much fun to me to actually get in there and perform and show everybody what I'm capable of, and I just love it. I just love to fight. I love boxing. Love everything in general.
So how'd you get into boxing? How'd you get into the sport? What's your story?
I was 11 years old. My dad taught us how to fight. Of course, before that, we had a boxing bag in the house. My dad had taught me how to fight and defend myself. And I was never bullied, thankfully, to my father and things he taught me. My brother wanted to start boxing, and so I went to the boxing. My mom found the boxing gym in Waco, Texas, Waco Boxing Club, and I tagged along with my brother, who was 16 at the time, and I fell in love with it, and I stuck with it. And it's just, I was on the USA team, 108 and 20. I fought a lot, turned pro with Ronnie Shields in 2014.
Yeah, it sounds like a great story for sure. Your last time out, you fought on the co-main of a pay-per-view. Not many fighters can say they've ever been on a pay-per-view card, let alone a co-main. How was that experience? How did it feel to be a co-main event for such a big event?
Well, it's pretty cool being the co-main event on the Showtime pay-per-view for the first fight back after COVID with fans, and so that was I think that was pretty cool, and so I was pretty happy about that. But it was a cool experience and all. But when it comes down to it, when you're there, you just don't realize it. You're there for business and business only, and so a lot of that stuff you look back on and you realize it. But while you're there and while you're in the actual emotions of doing everything, making the weight, showing up to the venue, back in the dressing room, getting ready. You don't think about any of it. Walking to the ring, I don't think about the people. I mean, I think about my fans, and I'm happy they're there, and I want to perform for them. But it doesn't really hit me until after the fight.
Great response as well. How did you get the nickname Cowboy? Where did that nickname come from?
That was given to me just by other fighters. I remember, I I come from a small town in Texas, little bitty town. Right now, I live in a town of 428, and it's growing. It's grown by 28 people in the last 10 years. And so, but when I lived in Cameron, Texas, little town about 5,000, in Milam County, and back when I started boxing, and going to all the fights in the amateurs, to Dallas, to Houston, to San Antonio, to Austin, to all over, everywhere. Bryan, it didn't matter. We went everywhere, all over Texas. I consider Texas my hometown, and always had a cowboy hat on. Always had my boots and jeans on because that's who I am. And the reason I don't today is we're down at the creek, and so I got my buddy Donnie Petrash's hat on. But and people just, sometimes it was funny. People say, "Ooh, hey, cowboy, yeehaw!" And you'd have somebody say, "Oh, it's cowboy," kind of just like laughing like it was a joke at first, but then it turned into, "Hey, Cowboy's over here fighting at this time. Cowboy's this fight. Let's go watch him." And there would be a crowd around my ring. And growing up, I always had a lot of pride in that. I was always real proud that I was able to perform and bring an audience to my fights. I was exciting enough to do that even as an amateur. At ringside tournaments, I would have a crowd around my ring. You'd have 6 rings set up, and there would be a crowd around mine. Or we'd be at the under 19 nationals, and I had a crowd. I had a following, and the reason I did is because I fight with such heart, and I give everything I have always.
Do you think that upbringing and your background has helped you become a better fighter and a better person throughout these years?
Oh, for a fact, I think boxing has shaped me in my life. No telling where I would be today. All of it, the way I feel about everything, boxing in general, has taught me so much respect and discipline, and self-worth. And you learn such a great respect for everybody when you start boxing. When you get inside that squared circle, you learn that it's not just for anybody, and that it's actually tough. And 99% of the people that have something to say about boxers never have the guts to stand in the ring. And I don't mean that as a bad thing. It's not for everybody. I'm not an accountant. I couldn't do it. There's people out there that can. Everybody has their own blessings, their own talents, and mine just happens to be boxing. But it's guided me and steered me in the right direction, and it's really helped me, I think, in my life in general.
And when you say that you fight with all your heart, every time out, many fighters have done that. What are some of your favorite fighters in recent and current years?
My first favorite fighter I had whenever, as a kid, I can remember is Ricky Hatton, just because he fought with everything he had, and he had such heart, such heart, and he fought so hard, and he was such a rough and tough kind of fighter. He was very crowd pleasing, and another fighter, my favorite fighter currently, one of my favorite fighters is Canelo Alvarez. He's excellent. And you got fighters like Jamal Charlo, who fights with everything he has. He trains. It's not a. People often look at boxers like they're lucky, or they've got it made, and but they don't understand what they've gone through. They say, well, you only train for so long. For 6 to 8, you train for 8 weeks, and you get this big paycheck. But they don't realize all the time you've put into it. I started boxing 17 years ago, and every day is boxing for me. And like Jamal Charlo told me one time, he makes a job out of it. He's getting up at like 6 in the morning and all day long until he goes to bed. It's nothing but boxing every day. When he's in camp, when he's out of camp, all the time. That's why he's always in shape, and that's why he's always ready. And so fighters like that really inspire me to continue to do what I'm doing and continue to fight hard and go in the right direction.
And you bring up Canelo Alvarez. Now, when I first started watching you, every time on one of your YouTube highlight videos, people say, this guy looks like Canelo's brother. Oh, is this Canelo? What is it like to be compared off of looks and even off the way you fight? Because you did fight a bit like Canelo when it comes to like the pressure, the chin. What does that feel like?
It's an honor. It's an honor. I mean, anybody that would be upset about being compared to Canelo in any way would be ridiculous. He's a superb athlete. He's absolutely one of the best in boxing right now. He's the biggest star in boxing right now. He's a great fighter. He's a Hall of Famer, a living, training, fighting Hall of Famer, and he's a bad dude. It doesn't bother me. People call me Canelo a lot in the amateurs. The Texas Canelo is what I was called a bunch. And I've had people call me Karl Nello and things like that, but it doesn't bother me at all. Yeah, I don't care either way.
So I'm going to ask you a very difficult question. You bring up Canelo, you bring up Charlo. They fought either at 160, 168 catch weight. How do you see that fight playing out?
It's really hard to go against Canelo in any fight, to be honest, right now. 100%. It's hard to go against Canelo in any fight, but I know what Jamal Charlo brings to the table, and so it's hard to go against him as well. So I see a very fan-friendly fight, a lot of fireworks, and I see something that would be great. I would like for the fight to happen just because either way, win, lose, or draw for either one of them, I think it's going to be top-notch, one of the best. And so I would really like to see it happen. Not sure that it will. With politics and boxing, not sure that it will. But it would be a great fight to happen.
And you also fought Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios was fighting Tank Davis, who you fought in the undercard of. I know that's a very tough fight to predict because, the weight classes are all over the place. How do you see that one going as well?
Just kind of depends. For me, if Tank can carry his power up, I think that he might clip Mario late. Mario's a very good fighter. Nothing against him at all. I have nothing but respect for Mario. He's never done anything to me. But showing respect. Mario's a very good fighter. He's tall. He's long. He's got a good right hand. Tank Davis might be in for a long night. I don't know that he'll be able to keep Tank off of him, and I don't know that Tank will be able to get inside at the same time. So it's going to be a very interesting fight to watch.
And how would you describe your fight style, to people that somehow haven't seen you fight yet? What would you tell them if they asked how you fought?
I'm a boxer puncher, and you'll never regret watching me fight. I'm exciting always. I give everything I have. And, win, lose, or draw, you're going to be entertained. You're going to get your money's worth anytime you watch me get in the ring.
And I know your career is still very young, but, out of all the things that you've done in your career so far, what do you think is your proudest moment being a boxer?
My proudest moment being a boxer. Buying my wife a new Suburban after our child. I don't know, the things that come with boxing and being able to support your family because your family supports you so much. That's probably going to be one of my proudest moments. Let's see. Proudest moment in boxing as far as in the ring goes. I couldn't even tell you. I enjoy it all, to be honest with you. I have a lot of good memories of boxing right now, especially as a pro. Probably my favorite memory in boxing is going to be my pro debut at Fort Bliss in El Paso, fighting for the troops in front of all the soldiers over there, and such a surreal experience being in front of all them warriors. All of those great people, great Americans, and it was an honor to be able to be in front of them. It was my treat.
That does sound excellent for sure. And the last question I do want to ask you is if you could make you fight any person in boxing history, your dream fight with you versus someone else, what fight would you make?
Boxing history? I want to fight Arturo Gatti or Ricky Hatton or Mickey Ward, one of those guys. And it might not be a fun fight. I guess actually let me take it two ways here. The best fan fight was with one of those guys I just mentioned, Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward, Ricky Hatton kind of style fight. But the smartest fight, you love to fight Floyd Mayweather.
Of course.
Floyd Mayweather, of course. Who wouldn't? Probably one of the all-time greats. And you're gonna get paid. In all honesty, I mean, anybody that says anything different would be wrong. But Floyd's an excellent fighter. He's a great fighter. Always has been. And so,
For sure, for sure. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview. I definitely truly appreciate it. People in the chat enjoyed it as well, so thank you. Right before you go, can you tell people where they can find you on social medias?
yeah, you can follow me on at Cowboy Karl on Instagram and on Twitter, just Facebook. Got a Ryan Cowboy Karl page, and I try to post good things on there, inspirational things. I try not to talk too bad, too wild, and I don't talk bad about fighters and stuff. So,
All right, have a good one, man. Thank you so much.
all right, thank you.